September the 1st, 2016. I'm Dana Durnford, your host, the nuclear proctologist .org, and you can find these videos right now throughout the entire internet, thank goodness, and Beautiful Girl by Dana, where I'm streaming from at the moment. So today we need to talk about that Pacific Ocean, the death of the Pacific Ocean, the implications of that. I'm sure you can kind of understand yourself. You got 30 million one-ton bags and struggling with my audio forever for 6 months or something, 7 months, 9 months. This morning it just sounded a little different. Let's go over to the chat room and see if anybody got any input on that. Good morning, everybody. Bit of an echo. Yeah. Damn it. Hang on a second. Then. It usually takes us a couple of minutes to warm up. I don't know where the echo's coming from. This morning it wouldn't work. I had to go to another session. It worked. It came back to this session, the main session. Then it was working, but then I noticed an echo. That echo is normally controlled here. No, hang on. Let's try that. Sorry. See, that's a big echo, but I got it turned off. It's completely off. But still got an echo for some reason. I don't know why. You can hear it more pronounced. That's okay. Yeah, that's not good. Echo. See? It is enough to wear you down, trying to get everything to work the way it's supposed to without affecting. See, I still got it, no matter what I do here. Check. Even if I turn that right down, still check. Check. See, I can still hear it. Let's hang on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. So no matter what I've done there, that's all the levels. And check. No? So I got everything turned off or turned down. Check. Yeah. The levels in Hawaii is in the South Pacific end of the line. So it's coming right across from Japan. It spreads out thousands of miles immediately. It's picked up in rain. It's constantly released over Japan. We have numbers there from originally. I've done 2 radio shows in Hawaii. Yeah, there's a speaker on in the room. That amp was on. Now, it could be my headphones. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check without the headphones. And so without the headphones plugged in, with the headphone plugged in. Yeah. One of those days, I guess. This wasn't supposed to happen. I was hoping it was on my end. No, it's not an extra set of speakers. There's no extra feed here. There's no, it's in my headphones when I put them both on. Almost 1 minute in. How far are we into this stream here? Let's get going. Yeah, no, let's turn the mic off. Hang on. One last try. Owie. No, still got it. Yeah, that's the way it works some mornings, right? U.S. Navy sailors are digital watch. See, it doesn't matter what I got done here. Probably need a new soundboard. One side of my soundboard died recently. Yeah, no matter what I'm doing here, I can't get rid of it. Like I say, I had weird problems with this morning. These things are hackable. U.S., our digital watches stopped working. Think about that one where all the digital watches. Verb is back. Yes, headphones. It was the headphones? Okay. So without the headphones, we got the headphones unplugged. And so if that's working, let's get busy. Turn that up a little tiny notch. Is that better? I'm just going to double check. Thanks, Shanikin. Thanks, Elaine. Well, I'm just, like you say, as you know, Elaine, and anybody else who's been here regularly knows this has been a struggle to get everything to work and equipment. And so, but let's go back to this one for 1 second before we get into the fish in the Pacific Ocean. I'll put an annotation at the beginning of the video when it renders and pops back up to skip ahead to this spot here. The sound's okay. It works? Okay, good stuff. Fix it. Fixed it. Good show, my friend. Thank you. We were laughing at first, but then, like, think about this, all your watches stop at the same time. Is that not something out of a horror movie? Yeah? And so you would have the gallows laugh, obviously, right away. Yeah, better without the headphones? Good. Okay, I got to get a new set of headphones. Once again, these are $10 headphones. And only one side is normally working this morning. Both sides are working. That should have been my first. And the sound is good now, Elaine? Good. Hi, all. Yeah, fix it. Better. Cruising, Illusion, Starlight. And anybody I don't get, my apologies. Glenn, Kisses here. Everybody else is here. I'll come back over and say, I try to say hi to everybody in a little tiny bit instead of later. I got my slippers on so I don't stomp my feet, make a bunch of noises. We got one unisiever per minute counting right there right now. That's 150 counts as a unisiever. Excuse me. Good, we got the audio on. That makes me feel so much better. So their watches stopped because there was so much radiation. Just like the robots stop when they go inside of the reactors, their watches stop because there was so much radiation. And then the nuclear industry has made it impossible for them to seek proper help. Literally impossible for these people to get proper help because everybody's terrified of the nuclear industry and the PR firms and the government. Well, the government is all pro-corporation, particularly anything that's misery machine. The history of nuclear is proof of that the government is completely out of control. It's completely disingenuous. 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette. Mine don't. But your typical cigarette has 7,000 chemicals. Is that not out of control? Yeah, the Gulf of Tonkin never even happened. The Vietnam War, the start to the Vietnam War never even happened. Yeah, that's confirmed. Robert McNamara himself. And so they went to war over nothing. And then he sprayed chemtrails over the sky for 9 years, toxins and dioxins. And they knew there were toxins and dioxins. They had all the studies. They knew this was going to really destroy the country, the fauna, the flora, the insects, and every tree and every leaf and all the vegetables. But this is what they said they wanted to do. That's why they used that particular Agent Orange to do that particular job. But what they done was they chemtrailed the sky. Literally, B-52 bombers, 24 hours a day, spraying Agent Orange. That's chemtrailing the sky. No matter how you try to spin it or pretend that it's not, it is. You've done it for 9 years, and you kill every plant in the country. Where does all that, Vietnam's mostly mountains. Where does it all wash back down to, I wonder? Yeah, the ocean, yeah? But it has to get through the estuaries and the streams and the rivers. And so you kill off literally all the indigenous species there. Their normal superior genetic selection. The new ones that showed up weren't that they were the ones that can survive in that environment. So you got rid of the genetic superior selection in Vietnam by doing that for 9 years. Just imagine, you see videos now where they have chemicals, say, in Syria, given to them by Americans or Russians, but they have chemicals in Syria. Right? So it's big, they're investigating, United Nations investigating whether chemical weapons were used in Syria or Iraq or Afghanistan, where there's millions dead, millions missing, millions in refugee camps, millions unaccounted for, to get 10,000 Taliban that were created and funded by the government to overthrow and push out Russia originally, then to try to overthrow what they call dictators. When they're dictators, they're 100% dictators. They're the inbreeds of the dictators on top of that. I'm going to light up my cigarette without 7,000 chemicals. I know, Dana, that's not going to burn, Dana. It doesn't have 7,000 chemicals. I don't know why you're going to bother. Look at that. That's just like smoking a cigarette with 7,000 chemicals. Don't let that one slip out into the internet, for goodness sakes. People will be like, what? 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette? And you don't want to smoke? What the frig is wrong with you, Dana? You anti-corporation, Dana. You got to take one for the corporations, Dana. Or 7,000 in this case, for the corporation. So we started off to a rocky start today. But you can't, there's so much radiation, the robots don't work. But that's why the U.S. Navy watches stopped offshore. Remember, we got testimony from some of these sailors. Do you think the sailors were there to help people 100 miles offshore, or do you think they were there to help people at Fukushima? Yeah? In the prefecture, in the 400 kilometers where the tsunami came in and wrecked the country. What do you think that was all about? Do you think they were there, wait for it, I got the pretty little boy here. Do you think they were there to help people there? Do you think they were there to help people here? Or here? Yeah? Do you think so? Do you think they were there to try to save people? The military? Or do you think they were there, look at where all the people died. Our digital watches stopped working when offshore Fukushima. Okay, Dana smirked that one up. This one here. So these people were not 100 miles offshore is what I'm saying to you. Yeah? But allegedly the soldiers were 100 miles offshore. So how were they beneficial by being 100 miles offshore? Anybody? Anybody? You know what I'm saying? So why would you even go there if you're going to stay 100 miles offshore? Why would you stay there if you're going to go 100 miles offshore? And so the watches stopped because the robots, just like the robots, the electronics died, right? Okay, let's get into the story anyway. We had a rough start to the day, but it kind of works out. Lane was saying there earlier there's a big thunderstorm kind of thing going on down in her neck of the woods in California area, that part of the coastline. Okay, so the sailors' watches stopped because there was so much radiation. It's as simple as that. And there was so much radiation that their watches stopped, and they were extraordinarily... If they were only there for 1 second, 15 seconds, 1 minute, 10 minutes, then they got wicked doses that will kill them down the road. And cancer is the last one to show up, but it can show up quickly if you got big doses. If you're in a spot where your watch stops because there's so much radiation, you just got pounded. You just got pounded and grounded forever. Okay. Physicians report an increase of cancer, not around banana farms, not around potato farms, but around nuclear power plants. They reported an increase of birth defects, not around banana farms or banana supermarket shelves or in your fridge or something like that, or potatoes, or walking in the sunshine, no, but because of nuclear, they're close to a nuclear radiation site that was releasing radioactive material. A nuclear power plant releases the radioactive material. They hid that from you. Then they try to make it seem trendy and cool. Claimed it's like a banana and potato chip. But why do you have terrorist laws? Why do you have nuclear waste sites? Why are you trying to build a repository? You don't have waste sites, you have holding sites. You know why you don't have waste sites? Because you just can't bury it anywhere, even though they did. And we covered that yesterday. Back to my cigarette without 7,000 chemicals that I meant to smoke. Instead, I wandered off into a conversation, which is cool too. So, like yesterday, we're talking about colossal 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures. Well, 1,600 degrees, these reactors vessels are going to melt down. What are they going to do at 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures? Now, let's just say you're in the middle of a 10-story building and you got a bonfire that's 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures, and you got your children upstairs a couple of stories up, and they're playing on the living room floor. Now, would you think it was a good idea to get them out of that? Or would you say, nah, they'll be okay, 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures, my kids will be fine above that. That's a fine place for them to play. Well, no, you would get your kids out of there, yeah? Okay, and why would you? Because you're not stupid, and because it was too late once the 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperature started. If you were anywhere in that building, you were a done deal. You were petrified because of the heat. Okay. Cancer found in over 40 children. Leukemia cases to increase in the next few months. Outbreak of cancer. Now, there was 860,000 excess cancers in Japan in 2012. No, they did. They kept coming here and telling you, oh, there's no increase in cancer. That's what they say in all the comments and articles and everything else out there. Dana, there's no... Oh, Dana, you expect to see an increase of cancer? Well, we got it now, don't we? When we showed that many times. 860,000 new cancers in the first year. No, that's normal, Dana. Situation in Fukushima beyond imagination. So heart attacks will show up, and diabetes will show up long before cancer. Alzheimer's will show up. Dementia will show up. You'll have all the respiratory and pituitary glands and adrenaline glands. You have your heart disease is well known associated with, there were studies where there was 22,000 heart attacks right after Fukushima in North America, because the jet streams are real. I know that's going to come as a shock to a lot of people. Fukushima official, radiation is killing children. Now, they're not saying that to be fear-mongering. It's not saying that for something to do. They're saying it because it's truly happening. They're saying it because you can't escape what really happened there. You can't switch off. The radiation is not like a banana. So 5,000 nuclear plant workers. Okay, so now we're getting to the meat and bones of the story of the Pacific Ocean, the death of the Pacific Ocean. Top Japan official discovers radioactive hotspots in Tokyo. Now, recently they come out with, I can't remember the number, 500 million, 500 billion or something, atoms per kilogram in Tokyo. See, all of that is on the ground, is washing in typhoons and snow and rain back into the Pacific Ocean on top of everything else. But it's radiating everything around it all the time. So that's washing back into the Pacific at the same time. And a lot of that stuff that at 500 billion or whatever it was, incredible numbers of atoms, these glass spherical, we'll talk about that a bit later, peroxide from the salt water on the reactors. That's where those buckyballs were coming from. Recriticality, major Japan paper reports on detection of iodine-131. Recriticality, iodine-131. Recriticality, iodine-131. Let me just imprint that in your mind for you. Iodine with an 8-day half-life. And the importance of that is that it tells you that, because it comes from fission. So it has to be a chain reaction going on for that to be present within the last 8 days before it decays to another deadly isotope. And it'll do that 10 different times with different isotopes. But iodine-131 is the tracer. And so when he found the iodine-131, that meant there was all that plutonium, whatever the ratio is for that particular meltdown, whatever the formula is, that, because there is no handbooks on this, right? There is no, but we do know that there was a ratio measured of 30-1 of iodine-132, and there was a ratio of 10-1 rather, for iodine-132. And there was a ratio of 30-1 for iodine-133. They got shorter half-lives, but they ionize and radiate your thyroid glands 9 times more effectively than iodine-131. and that there was 31 times more iodine, 133 with a 15 million year half-life, 115 million year lifespan, times 10. See? It changed to other isotopes after 15 million years. Not that I care about that part of it. Why would I? How can you prove it? What it turned to? You can't manipulate it. It has to run its course. Now, we have iodine in nature. They love naming the stuff after, because this is all man-made, the stuff from the chain reaction. And so now we're coming almost to the part where we get into the fish. When we washed our hair, it comes off in clumps. August 13th. Decrease in white blood cells. That's as bad as it gets. You're in real trouble now. That's not because your body's flooding with red blood cells. It's because your body is unable to produce the white blood cells. Now, normally produce the white blood cells in your spleen. Is the biggest producer. It's a little gland. It's an organ, I guess, is it? Spleen is a gland, I'm sorry. But anyway, it makes white blood cells, and that repairs damage in your body. But you also make these white blood cells in your joints. That's how important they are. So a decrease in white blood cells is very, very, very scary stuff. And this is where you see the 1800 autoimmune deficiencies manifest before the cancer, see? Because of stuff like that. Because now you can get Alzheimer's and dementia because you're not carrying around oxygen or nutrients, because the red blood cells are also missing, which is... LA Times alarming West Coast sardine crash likely radiating through the ecosystem. Radiating. Yeah. Experts warn marine mammals and seabirds are starving. Yeah? 2014. I don't know why that headline looks so weird. So that was 2014, January the 5th. Boats returned without a single fish. Well, the sardines, the herring, the anchovies, these are from British Columbia, Canada. We're going to cover these numbers at the end of the show. But these were 5 expeditions we done along the coastline. These were the species left, the pre-Fukushima, post-Fukushima stats. I'm going to cover that at the end, hopefully. You got a little boo of it anyway, so that's okay. Here we go. Let's keep going with these headlines because we got a boogie and woogie and rock and rolly our way through. I can pop myself in or out of the shot. I got to come back to that one. Massive radioactive releases. Fukushima going on for almost 3 years now. Visible steam. Now, the steam is radioactive discharges. It looks like steam. It's not steam, though. It stopped being steam. Or it wasn't steam ever. It's radioactive. So it's like a steam in one sense, where the water, they call that tritium, right? 3H, man-made radiation. And tritium-3H lasts 12 years. It's a very low emitter, but your body absorbs water really good, don't it? So do plants and food and animals and everything else survives with water. And so water assimilates radiated water. So a screwdriver can be magnetized on a battery. Everything could be radiated by being in proximity to radiation. So radiation, a typical emitter that we talk about, like the Geiger counter up right now, 141 is amazing numbers. Trust me, these are disturbing numbers pre-Fukushima. These would be like, this is an evacuation zone of 55. Germany packs it up at 5. Beckles, 5 of those counts you see there. 150 is a unisiever a minute, because I'm on the counts per minute. 167 is over a unisiever. These numbers are extraordinary. These are very dangerous numbers. We shouldn't be here in the west coast of Canada, British Columbia, Canada, with any numbers like this. We should be completely done with the Titcher River. 7,500 communities should be evacuated, and probably will be in the very near future if we come to our senses. Just the tip of the iceberg, containment vessels are broken. And so let's just, very quick, have a quick boo at the reactors so you can kind of visualize the reactors. This is number 1 you see over there. This is what it's supposed to look like behind me. The reactor core is straight up the center. You see the big bulb at the top. That's yellow, by the way. And then you see there's 2 pulls. My Geiger counter is hiding one of those. And we better bring that up because I'll forget to put the Geiger counter back up. Yikes. And so these are 10 seconds. There's 3 of them. And it's playing out. So reactor 1, the fuel pools would have been melted down, enormous heats up there. And we got the documentation, 5,000 pictures from the TEPCO, the official pictures, and these are the official diagrams. Okay, so the fuel pool has 5 reactor cores and it's gone. And the reactor is melted down. We know that's gone too. Now that's confirmed. This is what Unit 3 looks like. As you can see, Unit 3 is completely gone. There is no reactor core whatsoever. There is no fuel pools at the top of that building. And that would be 5 reactor cores stored there for 10 years. But just to slip them together, so you got to kind of, I was fooling around and decided to record it, so it's not very good, I know. But I decided to chop it up and use it until I do a better job of it. It is a lot of work to get the line everything up and try to get them to match up properly. That's where reactor 3 core was, is 2,200 feet up or something like that at that point. Right, and you know that because you can see it is missing from the building, and you know it because that's the explosion. And then you can extrapolate that the building that exploded, and that's the explosion, and then it would make sense that the reactor core that was in the center of it went straight up like a gun barrel, yeah? Would that make any sense to anything on this planet? But it also was distributed all over the site, yeah? This is Unit 4. This is the one they told you they got all the fuel out of. In 10-second clip, we'll come back over the headlines in the Pacific Ocean. But I want you to understand there's 6 reactor cores in each of the buildings, and each of the buildings are completely missing. And the inventory is usually, when it's released, will turn into gas. Its parent daughter is a gas. Let's put it that way, that terminology. The tsunami came through the 400 miles of the coastline. Reactor 1 totally gone. You can see the top of it. There's a complete meltdown. This is what it should look like. And this is reactor 2. We know that's all gone. This is reactor 3. Yeah? So it doesn't look like a symmetrical building at all, do it? No. This is reactor 4. And so when you looked at those comparisons, you kind of got it. But these are fallout maps. Different countries model it. That was France's, or the EURAD project. We have the Austria's modeling. We have the Norwegian Institute for Air Research modeling. We have France. We have so many modelings. We're not going to cover that today, but once again, let's keep going on the headlines. And think about how these buildings literally pop. That should keep you honest. And the audio's okay, everyone. I'm going to just keep my eye on the comment section for a few moments to see if I should be left, right, center of the microphone. Am I looking away, moving away from the microphone? I can shift the microphone to my right is that way for you. My left is that way for me. You. Left, right, left, right. I have to turn around. It would work out fine. Okay. Let's come back over to those headlines. Those headlines... Nuclear expert, nuclear reactor cores melted right down, boom, into the ground. And everybody can see, yeah, it melted down into the ground. Anybody disputing that? And you're pretty silly. U.S. Navy sailors suffered horrible radiation exposure. Like we started off with that first one of all their watches stopped at the same time. Just like the robots all stopped at the same point going in the reactor cores, all their watches stopped throughout the ship because they were in a massive plume. They were in a massive plume because these things actually blew up and caught fire. They lost their inventories. There were 6 reactor cores per building. This is not like the atomic bomb material where it was 1 pound. We're talking about inconceivable numbers. And that they lied about it so much that they can't justify their lies any longer because we dissected them and found them to be wanting. Fukushima pollution may be causing sea star epidemics on the West Coast, so... Yeah, sea star epidemic, you say? Let's keep going. Now, we've done the whole coastline, 15,000 miles. We normally show that every day. We will show it at the end of it, hopefully. Alarming West Coast sardine crash likely radiating throughout the ecosystem. Sardines, the squid, the herring, the anchovies. Remember the post-Fukushima species council on the coastline that we've done over 260 days, 15,000 miles. Terrifying how the Pacific ecosystem has collapsed since Fukushima. Now, the reactors run on plutonium and uranium. I got to get cigarettes with 7,000 chemicals so they don't go out on me. smoking just natural tobacco. So I'm going to turn the mic down. Just 1 second. Because I seem to be centered right about here. There. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. Sounds good, Shanigan. Yep, Radical Home Goddess. And she's got a book, folks. Please support her. We got Daniels on Fukushima. And, I don't get everything right. Don't expect anybody out there writing books to get everything right. But, they did write a book and they did try. And, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I make a mistake, I find out about it, I can correct it. And so I've been at this so long now, I don't usually make any mistakes, but I'm always terrified. I can't say different numbers without realizing I said the wrong number. I can say 3,000 instead of 30 million. I can say 3 billion when I should be saying 3,000. I have done that. But a minute later, I might bring it back up again and I'll say the right number. I've noticed that about myself. I'm the only low volume sufferer. Maybe I need more than 1 watt. You don't even know if it's 1 watt? No. If you got 1 watt, it's going to be really hard. And if I turn it up, what you get is all kinds of distortion in the back. And so you should get like a 2 watt set of speakers, just like live a little. Cruising, yeah? I know, Dana says you should live a little. I am. I got 1 watt speakers almost. You need to boost it up. It's terrifying how the Pacific ecosystem. Just run a set of wires to your TV speakers. There you go, you'll be fine. Please don't do that, by the way. Not that you would, but anybody out there in the future listening to this, that was a stupid idea. Plutonium and uranium suspected spreading. No, it wasn't plutonium and uranium, Dana. It was just iodine, Dana. Plutonium wouldn't leave the reactor. They're best friends, Dana. They hang out with each other. The uranium and plutonium would have sat there and had a picnic while the iodines went all over the world. See, Dana? Well, like when it comes to radiation, you're splitting. You're splitting. You're contaminating. Everything that lands on anything gets contaminated. That becomes radioactive too. And our NPR, Nuclear Puke Regulatory, and the California freaks of hating your health appear on documents with nuclear-related U.S. freaks working together with the biggest freak TEPCO to disseminate Fukushima-related. What do you mean Fukushima-related? They're working together to just to deceive you, and you'll see lots of that if you look at this subject at all. Fukushima may have already released 90 quadrillion. What do you mean may? That's nothing. That's irrelevant. 90 quadrillion. A gram has 88 times 37 billion. Hang on. Fucking cigarette. I'm going to throw it away. Good thing. Where the hell is that? The curry. I got to find that now because I'm getting confused. I'm worried. See, that's what I mean. You can make simple mistakes. It's all right, man. It's okay. I know I imported it. Let me see if I can bring it up right quick here. I imported it, and banana. Fuka. Radiation conversion chart. I actually got something right today. Wow. No, not me. Hang on. No. Dana, get your act together. Yearly doses per person from food per year, 400 unisievers. These unisievers can't mutate a fruit fly. These are natural indigenous. You can't get it out of your food. You wouldn't want it out of your food. It's part of your body, what they're talking about. See, this is the manipulation. And I'm supposed to show me curries in that one. Hang on, I'll find it. Or not. Let's keep going. Danny, you got to fix that, Danny, before you keep going. Okay. Multiple marine scientists say Fukushima plumes at West Coast. San Francisco Chronicle reports radiation levels from Fukushima, California coast have gone down. You see the Geiger counter up in the corner? So first off, we got numbers in California of 40,000 becquerels. And I'm not going to cover California, but I have repeatedly covered over 200 headlines at a time on California. Just burned through the headlines. Pacific Wasteland, Japan government scientists, big problem for the whole ocean. Fukushima water released with strontium-90. They're dumping it all the time in the rivers, lakes, the estuaries. They're burning it in the incinerators right throughout the whole country. They had 24 reactors, went bang, and atomized and aerosol their inventories. That was spread. That could blow halfway out into the ocean. The wind can change and blow it right back on top of Japan. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. Think about how a snowstorm works. Think about how rain works. So when it's raining, do you like wear your summer in the winter or fall? Do you wear like summer clothing because it's raining? Do you wear your boots that stain easily or your clothing that stains easily when it's raining? Because you know what happens, right? It's just this disgusting. Everything nuclear is disgusting. Everybody that is in the media talks about nuclear are disgusting people. They're pathetic, anti-human monsters in every sense of that word. They just lie. It's just lie after lie. When we know what the lies are, you can go back and look at the 50s and 60s and 40s government videos about nuclear, and there's all the lies right there. And there's the same narrative you're hearing today in the industry. Radiation to be at the U.S. coast early this year. Well, the food chain, shellfish magnify at 120,000 times. They're the biggest magnifier out there is a shellfish. Health risk to be determined by ongoing monitoring. Who's going to believe the government anyway, right? It got here right away. The Pacific Ocean current travels at 5 miles per hour minimum, the Kuroshio current. And I shouldn't have done that, I suppose. I'll never find my way back now. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the Kuroshio current, I'll get there. Here we go. Let's go up and talk about that for 1 second. The ocean currents. The ocean currents are well known. The jet stream is well known, well vetted, well verified, well understood, well sourced. We get it. We already understand it. But what these models are only based upon, these are Fukushima models, these are only based upon releases from a single reactor. They're not based upon the 24 reactor cores that are missing. They're not based upon the melted reactor cores that were running. They're not based upon the inventories in one of the buildings, let alone all of the buildings. And we know the ocean current is real. There's like, you can't, and that Chernobyl was 600 kilometers inland. Fukushima is right smack on the ocean. It's a big difference, yeah? And model after model after model. Kuroshio current, if radiation was visible, it would look like this or like that. The dispersals are well known. How could this, right? This is a 40-day model. You're at day 14. 4 days later, 15. 5 days later, 6 days later, 7 days later, or 6 days later, 8 days, 7 days later. That's not confusing. Dana, just leave it. Happened on 11, you're at the 20th, 21st, 22nd. This is only based up on releases from one reactor, not from the reactor core, just venting. It's not based upon the meltdowns. It's not based upon the melt-throughs. It's not based upon the cannibalizing of the building at 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures. It's not going to go away. It's not going to turn to fairy dust. It's not going to become harmless because you don't hear about it, you don't follow it, you don't understand it, you don't read about it, the media doesn't inform you about it. It doesn't mean that it's gone away and it's harmless, and that it doesn't have any implications. It spanned the entire northern hemisphere, right smack around it. Minimum. It's gone right around the planet, don't get me wrong. But this is just the first 40 days. This is one of many, many types of models. There's Japan right over my head. So the Pacific Ocean is unbelievably radiated. You look around the Pacific coastline, right, everything west of the Rocky Mountains washes right back down to the Pacific coastline. That's why we study the tidal zones along British Columbia, Canada. We've done the whole coastline of Canada over and over and over. And just a quick explanation. This is one of the spots. There's your GPS alongside of me. We're in this boat. And I spent up to 5 months without coming home. And then I had a little Zodiac. And then instead of looking rich and wonderful, no, this is what we found. Instead of being beautiful like you see over here, or right here, no, it was naked. That's shocking, see? It was missing. Instead of this incredible diversity, most of the coastline was like that. Now, this is the lowest tides of the year, rather, right here, say, lowest tide of the year up there, and this is in the Haida Gwaii, formerly known as Queen Charlotte Islands pictures. This is before, in the same spot. Now, I've been there before, and I know what it's like anyway. I understand that. That's why I went there and went back over and over and over, because it looked like that everywhere you went. It was amazing, yeah? Incredible. But when I got there this time, it was like this, no matter where I went. This is the low tide zone, very low tide, as you can imagine. Looking at these pictures, you can see how high up the tide got to go. Louise Narrows. So instead of looking like this incredible, every millimeter thriving, oh, it was hellish. Let's keep going on the headlines. Fukushima plant out of control, completely out of control. Anybody with even a little tiny brain on their shoulders would understand that it's out of control, and that we got to do something. It's time for desperate actions. It's time for desperate things to happen. It's time to completely change, get rid of TEPCO. It's time to throw them, prosecute them at the same time, preferably, but at least get rid of them. They got to go. They're not the solution. They're the problem. TEPCO is not helping anybody. Is not even helping themselves. Certainly not helping Japanese, and it's certainly not helping the Pacific Rim nations, who are no way to not be affected by it. There's no way, if you live anywhere in the Pacific Rim nations, there's no way to escape this without escaping off the Pacific Rim east of the Rocky Mountains. You're still going to be bombarded, but at least you're not getting it all the time in your face from the Pacific Ocean, from the jet streams coming straight across. Fukushima plant is out of control. Nuclear fuel is now in the ground. There's no way they can get at it. It will just wash uranium out to sea, and the pollution, the death of the Pacific Ocean, to continue more or less forever. Even if you stop it now, you can't save the Pacific Ocean. But if you don't stop it, you can't save the planet. You got to save the planet. State of Fukushima, melted fuel unknown. They don't know where's to. No one knows. Traveling underground to the sea. Every time it rains and snows, all the water they're pouring on is washed and fissionable products. There's rods blown out into the sea. They cement it. The ocean front property in the ocean itself, the ocean floor out in front of the reactors. Because, for a simple reason, because the buildings blew up. Right, they blew up. And then where did all that stuff go? It got swept out to sea. Look at the damage along the coastline. Do you think these reactor buildings are kryptonite or something? Do you think she's not real? Those pictures are not real. Do you think that is not real? Do you get why they got 30 million bags? 152, hang on. Dana, anytime you're ready. 30 million, 1 ton. Well, they say 30 million tons, but instead of saying 1 ton bags, because these are 1 ton bags. So instead of saying 30 million 1 ton bags, they say 30 million tons. But see, 30 million 1 ton bags, a 1 ton bag in the back of each, in a pickup truck, bumper to bumper, touching each other. There's 5 lanes of traffic right around the entire planet. Yeah? This is catastrophic. That is catastrophic. This is 4 buildings done that. Or is it the reactors right along the entire coastline where all these people died, and the red and the yellow ones are missing? That was 400 kilometers where all those nuclear power plants did, right? Is that why we got 30 million bags? Let's keep going. I lost track now. 150. Ooh, boy. Yeah, close enough. Let's keep burning. Is the most important issue ongoing in the world. Everyone should stop what they are doing and work together. Yeah. Fukushima is the most important issue going on in the world. Period. bar nothing. Yeah, it should lead to the destruction of the fishing industry because that's murder or anybody that eats it. But it takes 10, 20, 30, 40 years typically for the cancer to show up. But if you're eating that stuff all the time, you're going to get it way quicker. Leukemia is going to show up, heart attack, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and, you know, all kinds of issues. 1,800 diseases, illnesses, autoefficient deficiencies. Tree Wolf. Illusion, Delamine, Nep Killer, Elaine, Cruisin', Ellie. Hi, everybody. And just joining in to the conversation. Stetton, hey, bud. Up in northern BC. Working his butt off now for decades. Hi, Glenn. Everybody, Starlight, Illusion. Let's keep going. We started off slow, so we got to hammer away today. Beyond me, hammering away. California schools announced Fukushima testing. We'll be arriving this year in the ocean. Like, that's the stupidest thing imaginable because it takes 45 days for it to come across the ocean. You literally have to be stupid to say it's going to be 2014 before it shows up. You literally have to be an idiot to think that was true. Because you didn't bother to go look at the Kuroshio current, do your own math. You didn't bother understanding doing a calculation is simple. 20 years ago, everybody would have done it. Now no one cares because you're inundated with information all the time. So, but doing the calculations for stuff like this was normally what you would do instantly when you heard of something like that. Well, it's this far away. Ocean currents traveling this at 5 miles per hour, 24 hours a day, times 45 days is 5,500 miles. So why are they saying in 2014 it's going to show up soon? The jet streams are actually real. It came here and got here in the first couple of days. And the numbers were incredible numbers, like Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, was 220 million of iodine 129 per liter of rainwater. People say, oh, iodine is not very energetic. No. Well, when it's in your body, it's pounding the DNA and the chromosomes. And because there's so much of it, and because your body accepts it, like potassium, yeah, radiation is pro-nuclear, and people in the nuclear industry, these are just unbelievable, terrible creatures on our planet. We can make monster movies about these people that Hollywood couldn't dream of. That's how evil and twisted and demented their history is. It's a sickening, everything about nuclear is sickening. From the killing of the animals for 70 years where every animal died, never cured a single animal. Every animal died within 5 years of vicious tumors from lungs and bones. It's really something. It's not like they didn't know it. It's not like the media couldn't find it. It's not like the apologists out there don't know it exists. It's not like the universities didn't produce the material. Instead, they come out and tell you it's like a banana and a potato chip when they got millions of studies on dead animals. Millions. They tell you it's like a fruit fly. The studies on the fruit fly showed no effect, Timmy. Yeah, I don't know why people are so worried. Nuclear is so great. These people, our government, our TV, and our universities are full of these people from each industry. Each industry has morphed into hell. Like the food, agricultural industry, 95% of the supermarket is genetically modified creatures that are disgusting. That is not really food, it's creatures. It's GMO creatures. There's no long-term study. They own a patent on it, and you do a study on it, they'll sue you and take your degree away from you. But every industry, every government entity, every university, every media outlet, what's considered mainstream, these have been taken over by people who sought the job out as PR firms, who sought the job out. But now, not like a PR firm that, say, if somebody slandered you and you didn't do anything wrong, they went out and repaired your name. No. These are people that to protect the country, protect it from mass murder. They got the education to do that job. And there's unbelievable amount of them still out there waiting for an opening at these places to get that job. And they will murder you. That's what they do for a living. That's what your media is. It's just one big murder after another. They lie and lie. They don't bother fact-checking it. They don't bother looking at the information.
Like, they can flush out the lies the same as me. They got more resources. They got more equipment. They got more time. They got more Sally Anns there running around. And they know the stuff, and now they got to come up with a way to trick you. Well, it's like this and it's like that, and it kills all the children and gives them all cancer. There's 6 times more breast cancer. So let's call nuclear carbon-free. Only source of carbon-free energy on the planet, nuclear. Here's a mouthpiece from Vic, or a mouthpiece from Woods Hole, or a mouthpiece from this one, or a mouthpiece from that one. I'm sorry. Here's highly educated, esteemed academic. Yeah, geez, Sally, it's like a potato chip. I don't know what people are getting all upset about. There's no alternative narrative to it. There's no one there to say, well, no, it's not, dummy. That's why I got terrorist laws. That a pound of it will kill everything in the studio in 1 minute or 20 minutes top. It'll kill 1,500 people in the theater in 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes till the end of time, a single pound. It's all over your ocean now. It's dead. It's done. We've done the coastline. We don't know how much is coming or how fast it's moving. Situation's evolving. Unprecedented. Fukushima is cesium, but cesium is a tracer. Oh, I gotta worry about cesium. No, I'm not worried about cesium. I'm worried about the plutonium, the americium, the neptunians, the 12,000 isotopes that we created. Not the solar system created, but we created. Not the sun creating, but we created. That are supposed to be locked up in a sarcophagus for billions of years. Created. How come we don't lock up bananas and potato chips? Why do you allow these people out there to say that to you? Why do you sit there and take it? Oh, Danny, it's just like a banana. Yeah, but how stupid are you? How idiotic are you? How moronic are you to think that is true? How gullible are you? The worst thing on the planet is PR firms. The most maniacal thing on the planet is a nuclear PR firm. The most disgusting thing on the planet is any PR, public relation firm out there. People that work for it, your academics, your media, your government officials. If you are a corporation, you need a PR firm, then you should have lost your charter. You should have lost it. You should have been in jail because you're a criminal. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have a charter. He has corporate personhood. He can't go to jail, can't get a criminal record. So he just keeps committing crime after crime after crime and getting billion-dollar fines. But he made $10 billion doing it, so who cares? You got to kick something back to the government. It's not coming back to the victims. It's going to the government. To kick back the money, the fine don't come to you. The victim, no. Mark Zuckerberg don't get ostracized from the media and the academic world or anywhere else. No, he gives the Pope a drone. But he's 100% criminal. He's worse criminal than anybody I know out there. He violated everybody's. But he could have made money any other way. He didn't have to do that to make money. He didn't have to sacrifice your privacy, that your children's pictures and everything else. He didn't have to steal all that and sell it over and over to make money. He could have found 500 other ways to make money. They didn't have to go the route they're going in any of these. They didn't have to use nuclear. They could have developed solar by now. It would have been perfect. Would have been 10 times what nuclear is any day of the week. If they put half the resources into anything out there that they put into nuclear, but the only, there's no way to avoid it. No matter what solar system you're in, what planet you're on, if you start up nuclear, you're going to end that planet at some point within 100 years or so. You're going to kill that planet. That's what nuclear is. And the scientists know that. The scientists are aware of that. They know it's capable of it. Just a single reactor of wiping out the entire planet. Why would you allow something like that on your planet? Because they told you it was like a banana and potato chip and walking in the sunshine. For 70 years. And they hid 1 million studies about the death of the animals for that same time and told you that you were ridiculous to even suggest that was possible. That you're foolish to listen to anybody that says something like I say. That show you the documentation, the truth, and the information. California seeing Fukushima fall, it won't be a surprise. No, because the jet streams are real. Because the ocean currents are actually real. Second radioactive plume headed to California. What are you talking about? It never stopped coming. It never stopped hemorrhaging. It never stopped filling up the sky. Let's go look at those plumes again for 1 second. Dana, you got to bring the plume up, Dana, so people can actually see it. They're just messing with everybody. Does that look like another plume? Like, this is 40 days. Look at Japan up there in the top left-hand corner. The red coming out, that's Japan. It never stopped coming out. How can you call that, like, how can you describe it as a single plume when it never stops coming out? Day 14 to 15th, rather. So 5 days, 6 days, it never stopped coming out of Japan. Look at it. It never stopped coming out, never stopped spreading, never stopped evolving. That never stopped now for over 5 years. It's still happening. The initial releases, the detonations would have been high. But the meltdowns consuming everything around it is exactly like what you're looking at now. Many times worse than what you're looking at right now. What you're looking at right now is just based upon venting. It's based upon venting. So, like that plume, now there's another plume, say, coming out. And let's say there's another plume coming out at the same time. Yeah? You can't see it because that plume now is destroying everything, all your visibility, yeah? But all these other plumes are coming out. Every day there's another plume coming out. That's what that shows you, don't it? Here's day 1, day 2, day 14th, on the 15th of March, on the 16th. It happened on the 11th of March, day 17th of March, on the 18th of March. 7 days later, 1 week later, there's North America. Did you go out and walk around on any of these days? Were you outdoors breathing that on any of these days? Were you out in that environment on any of these days? Do you think the model, just because the model stops after 40 days, that it stopped coming out? Look, it didn't stop coming out of there, see? Still coming out of Japan constantly, look. Different color. But they're not including the melted reactors, not including the 5 reactor cores in the building. Everything I'm showing you is based upon the lowest common, not even a common denominator, the lowest number that they can lie about, which is the history of nuclear. That's what nuclear does. Canadian government withholding test, sense potential widespread disaster, yeah. 24 million becquerels a liter, per liter. But each becquerel, each atomic decay, can give you a cancer in 10, 20, 30, 40 years. You don't need 24 million in you. In Germany, they were packaging the food up at 5. In France, it was at 17. 24 million, who cares? 220 million becquerels in a liter of rainwater over Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Does it just rain by the liter? Did it just rain over that one spot in Vancouver? Did it rain over all of British Columbia? Just that alone would have been catastrophic, and was, and is, and will. It's over 1 million becquerels. You can only find, my Geiger counter is only looking for the tracer. Now you have to extrapolate and divide and multiply all the isotopes to get the actual numbers by the number you're looking at right now, or in 2 seconds, or wherever. Low-level radiation being reported in fish. Well, you can't find it unless you take and use sophisticated equipment. You can, though, if it's on the skin. You cannot sit by and watch and wait. Reports of radiation in kelp just north of California was 40 million becquerels. We cover that all the time. Latest numbers, Fukushima, 80 quadrillion becquerels. What are they talking about? Chernobyl was 70 quadrillion, which is nothing. That's irrelevant. It's 37 million times 88 in a gram. See, this is what they've done all their life, is lie to you. The true numbers were never told you. There's just one radioactive wave hitting the U.S. and Canada. This is a nuclear expert. Fukushima is pouring into the ocean, unstoppable for years. No sign it will stop anytime soon. It's not only pouring into the ocean, pouring into the atmosphere. Once it hits the upper and lower troposphere, and it does because of such enormous temperatures, then it's game over. But regardless of the issues we had today, we had a good show, I think. It was an okay show. And the point is that we need to talk about this every day. We need to have a conversation about this every day because people got to wake up. People got to get their asses in gear. People got to start being smart. People got to start trying to protect themselves. People got to start organizing. We got to shut down nuclear, everything on the planet. But most importantly, we got to stop those reactors in Japan. There is nothing more important than stopping the reactors in Japan. There's nothing more important than pretending that it's not like that by saying that's Unit 4. No, it looks like this. It's as simple as that. And people tell you, go out and you challenge everything on the planet. This is what they told you, but that's what it looks like. It's the same building. That's the official pictures. It doesn't look like that. It can't look like that. It'll never look like that. It looks like that. So that's where I screwed up because I had to zoom in on it. Did I? Who knows what I got done today, tomorrow, next day. It's just the way it rolled. So there's nothing left. Look at the building. This is what it's supposed to look like. And then when you marry them together, that's Unit 4. And they told you they got the fuel out of that. It looked beautiful, it looked intact. It showed you videos, people inside of it. Major mainstream media went in there and claimed they were inside of Unit 4. Here's TEPCO. Here's Set Dorn is one of them.
Of the decommissioning work taking place.
Claiming he's inside of a building that don't exist. Inside of a building that don't exist. Right? He's claiming he's inside of Unit 4 at Fukushima. PBS done it with Miles O'Brien. TEPCO done it at the Washington Institute Press Club, rather, where he showed this picture. When we know it looks like this. And that yellow thing you see in there is supposed to be in the top in the center. I'll end it on that. That yellow on the right-hand side is supposed to be in the top in the center. And those pieces front and side of that yellow bulb, the top of the reactor tores, are the reactor core, part of the reactor core blown out. They were blown out. But it didn't leave the building. It stayed inside the building. And so that's why when he tore it all down with remote control and the homeless, the destitute, and the immigrants who all died a few weeks later. Because the pictures you see of the people at Fukushima up close to these reactors, they're dead. And that'll continue for another 6 million people until we try to solve this and try to right a terrible wrong and save the other 8 million species that are on this planet. It is our obligation to save the other 8 million species on this planet. We have killed the Pacific. We show that. We show that in my documentation. And I'll end it on that. Come over right now, just a second. Say hi to everybody. We went out there on the boat for 260 days, 15,000 miles of the coastline, on the ground, and it was naked. I've been here before. It's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to look like that. They are the official pictures from there, by the way. It's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to look like this instead of look like that. And so what that means is that the 4.2 million other species in the Pacific Ocean didn't recede the coastline. So they're gone. We are in big trouble. And we are the number one source, the number one provider. Even though we have been censored throughout the internet, we have been marginalized and victimized and attacked and demonized relentlessly. We don't lie. What we do is we come out and we try to help you come to terms with what happened. Hugs for everybody. Radical. And she's a blogger too, folks. She doesn't stop. She's learning and she's working hard. Like you said, she even got a little book out. I mean, that's fantastic that people are trying and doing stuff like that. Dalamine, Nev Killer, Glenn, Sean lookalike, Crozan. Hi, everybody. Neil. Yeah, nuts for her, Lonnie. See you tomorrow morning, Lonnie, on your radio show, I guess. I slept in last weekend. And Elaine has non-stop work and sacrifices. And Janet and Fred Saxon Peck, non-stop sacrificed enormous sums of money and energy in order to see this through. And we got the documentation because of people throughout the internet, but because of a couple of really special people we did. Hi, Rennie, Cruisin', Neil. Yeah, the model's conservative for sure. Hi, everybody. Tree Wolf, just make sure we say goodbye. These comments will all be gone after the stream. Anybody I missed on the run through? Lawrence, anybody I missed on the run through? Remember. Stetson. Hi, everybody. I'm doing 5 things while the screen is rolling. So, Mox was the biggest event, Starlight. That's right. Mox is 4,500 times worse than any other reactor on the planet. All the reactors combined on the planet. 2 million times worse than any other reactor on the planet. Graham, hi everybody. Illusion Daniels and Stetson's again, because we don't see Stetson too often, but He's sometimes around all the time, but he's been sick for the last many months after a hard time, working all of his life. I almost had to take it away from him by a drunk, so to speak. And so hugs for everybody. We'll catch everybody tomorrow. It's Friday. Is that right? Let me double check here before. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. So we're doing Lonnie's at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock radio show. And I'll be doing a live stream here, right here. Same spot, Beautiful Girl by Dana on YouTube. Because we got to. At 10:30. And I do all of this because we got to. Because somebody has to be out there fighting, swinging, rallying, educating, hopefully, at least, anything. Somebody has to make some noise, though. And videos like this, with so much documentation, so many directions, so many ways we can just jump in here, jump in there. I'll go in and I'll have to burn the money and get a real set of headphones. And I have to get another cord. Because the headphones, you can't hear anything, and so I'm going to have to get a new cord, too. So it's going to be $150 probably before I get out of there today, just to solve that issue and make sure that's not going to be an issue again. And if it's still going to be an issue, then I got to turn around and reload everything up into another session by tomorrow to do the show. So it's a typical day for Dana. Hugs for everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Dana loves you. Don't forget that. And that'll never change for what you got done. For what you done for this planet, you made a difference. And you might not understand it, but you really did make a difference. And try to make another difference by learning the best you can. That's all I'm saying. Hugs for everybody. Take care, folks. We'll see everybody tomorrow.